covering all conversation, from dating to getting revenge on your exes. This is Talking Points with Shabazz Davis on World Improv Network.
Good evening, and welcome to Talking Points with Shabazz Davis. My name is Jerome Carmichael, filling in for Shabazz this week. Shabazz is off getting his back sanded. Come back soon, Shabazz. Tonight, we're going to talk about startling new trend that is sweeping our cities, and that is the nudist food truck movement. There we have, first, it was just food trucks. People serving food out of a truck. But now, those brave chefs are demanding to be naked as well. Some citizens aren't pleased. Perverts love it. We're going to get to the bottom of this issue tonight on Talking Points. With me, our first guest is Gary Neal. Gary, you've been operating a food truck for the past 3 years.
Yes, I have.
Now, but you've been operating it for the past 6 months naked.
That's right. I originally decided to run the food truck naked after the conditions became, pretty unbearable. I make a hot dish, all kinds of different hot dish. It's a Midwestern treat, so sometimes it'll be like macaroni with like pieces of ground up steak and the tomato sauce. Other times I'll
it's sort of like a neo-American cuisine, it sounds like.
Yeah, that's definitely one way of describing it. And actually, in a local publication called Food Truck Monthly, my hot dish was voted the most popular food truck dish in the county.
Oh, wow. So just everyone in the county is raving about your hot dish.
Absolutely. And, yeah.
So your decision to, shall we say, show off your hot dish was more a practical decision than it was a statement about clothing as a lifestyle.
That's right. That's how it started. And it just seemed like week after week I was dropping another layer to, bear the heat in the food truck. It's a confined space. And there's a lot of heat being used to prepare this hot dish. And it just got to the point where my lack of clothing became a statement not just about the conditions inside the truck, but it became a matter of transparency with the customers, that I wasn't hiding anything. And
no secret spices up your sleeve or...
Right. Yeah. I'm, what you see is what you get. That's
fascinating. Now, joining us in studio is Larry Kopp. Larry is the spokesperson for an organization, Dads Against Naked Cooking, DANK, or DANCE, depending on what region of the country you're from. Now, Mr. Kopp, you are wearing, it looks like, about 7 layers of clothes. You have a parka and a beanie on inside the studio. Clearly, clothing is very important to you.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, it's quite simple, actually, because it's an expression to not be too expressive. And when you wear a lot of clothing, you show that you're a humble man. You're someone of original origin, and not with a person that have a hot dish sitting in a bag of beans, across the counter naked. And that's unacceptable for our children, and that's why I formed DANK.
Well, so I'll be honest, Mr. Kopp, I'm hearing not conflicting messages, but kind of a two messages here of, is it about the children, and you don't want your children having to look at someone's hot dish behind the counter, or is it because you want to tamp out expression?
Well, I never thought of it like that. I would say it's because it is for the children. The moral fabric of our society is eroding away with, videos like Wrecking Ball by Miley Cyrus, and, people just don't care about anything. They just put people on blast on Facebook and Twitter, and there's no respect anymore. So if you have a naked man like this guy, Mr. Neil over there, serving his nuts and berries and his little sausages in front of everybody completely naked, that's just not acceptable in my mind. And that's why this organization had to have been founded before it became a pandemic in this country.
I am just, I am awestruck. I am awestruck because you're talking about the moral fabric of society. You're talking about protecting the children.
Yeah.
Well, what about setting an example for these children? One, I am embodying an entrepreneurial spirit.
Naked?
This is my own. Yeah, naked. Naked. What is wrong with the human form? We should all learn. Thank you, Mr. Carmichael, for joining me right now. He is unbuttoning his shirt. He's now he's undoing his belt buckle.
What?
And you, sir, are so confined. You are so wrapped up in the fabric of your own repressive ethical code. It is confining you, and I swear, one day you will find yourself dehydrated because of all of these layers of clothing. Dehydrated of a human creative spirit, something that is important to all of us, especially children. Children embody that creative spirit, and you want to wrap them up, you want to cover them up, you want to tie them down with these layers of clothing, and you want to take away delicious food from them. I'm just trying to provide a service, and I'm doing it in a way that expresses myself and is transparent and open. I'm sharing myself and my gifts with everybody.
Shut your hole. Shut your pie hole and let me talk.
Wow.
I'm telling you right now,
That's really
this
rude.
ain't a reality show of naked survivor with little kids and naked dads running around in the woods trying to catch some raccoons. This is about, trying to show some decency to the children. Let them decide when they're old enough to. I got the sweat coming out of my eyes.
Let them decide. Yeah, let them decide. Don't decide for them. Let them decide.
Don't let them be shocked until they have the ability to make a cognitive decision, Mr. Neal.
They wouldn't be shocked if they were introduced to the human form, the human body. that comes in all sorts of shapes and sizes and has all sorts of.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, it's fine.
Mr. Neal, but I feel
whatever.
I have never shared this before with anyone. Within the audience, especially.
You have a wonderful body, sir.
Mr. Carmichael.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you should be proud of it and willing to share it.
And I am, because I was raised by nudists. My parents never wore clothing, and I, Mr. Kopp, became accustomed to the human body from a very young age, so that I was never taken aback or surprised by the human form.
And look at you now. You're a successful host of a radio program.
He's a scab. He's only filling in for Mr. Davis, who's out getting his back waxed.
How rude of you.
That is uncalled for.
You were invited to the show, and then you insult the host?
By Mr. Davis. I was supposed to be on air with Mr. Davis, not with Mr. Carmichael.
Well, beggars can't be choosers, sir.
I am sorry. I am not necessarily the host that Mr. Davis can be, but I try, Mr. Kopp. I try my best. And every week that I have to come in here and fill in, I give it 110%. And I'm sorry I'm not Shabazz. I try to be, but I'm not.
You don't have to be.
That's not true.
You don't have to be, Mr.
Yeah, you
Carmichael.
have to.
No,
otherwise you'll always be a scab. That's why you naked in the back room sitting on the bench.
I would... What's
All
your
I
deal,
want-
man? What did your father do to you? Huh?
Don't bring up what my father did.
See, this is what I'm talking about. You can't repress these memories. You gotta share. You gotta unload all this stress and guilt or whatever's going. This emotional
Mr. Neal,
burden.
Listen, Neil, stop it. That's a knife coming into my throat, my larynx, and my heart. My dad was a nudist too, and that's why it shocked me as a child. I had to do something to be different. I didn't want to be just like my dad.
It's all right.
I didn't want to be another person that says, "Oh, there is Mr. Kopp. He's gonna be just like his dad." So I did exactly the opposite. I'm sorry. Don't stab it.
Hey, no, I'm sorry. I apologize, and
Put your head on my shoulder, Mr. Kopp.
That's what my dad used to say,
Let me comfort you.
Mr. Carmichael, that feels quite nice.
Here, I have some hot dish right here for you, Mr. Kopp. This is a very special dish. This is actually a family recipe, and I'm more than happy to share it with you. And
tastes quite good. That tastes good. Your dandruff coming off your hair makes it taste even better.
Well, this is just a beautiful scene here on Talking Points. So thank you all for listening, and hopefully Shabazz will be back next week. Thank you.
Give the Windcast your suggestions via Facebook, Twitter, or the KZKO Wind blog during the commercial break of what issues the Wind counselors can help you with during Good, Bad, Ugly. Next on KZKO.